Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday to all. Welcome to another edition of Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Man, this is Friday. I hope everybody has good plans and have a great weekend. But more importantly, I hope you have a safe and blessed weekend. All right? Well, let's get right to it. We're going to start off in the NFL. A couple of news to report. Let's start out with Denver. Denver has filled their coaching spot by naming Vance Joseph their head coach. And don't know too much about Vance Joseph, but he's inheriting a very veteran team. They may be in the need of a quarterback. I got this idea from my son speaking with him. He thinks that Tony Romo, and by the way, he is a Cowboy fan, he thinks that Tony Romo will probably land in Denver. And, after thinking about that, I think that would be a good landing spot for him because I can't see Tony Romo just going to a team that can't win or a rebuilding situation. I think he would go to a team that's loaded with veterans and has an opportunity to win if he chooses to remain in football, playing football. If he chooses to play football, I think Denver would be a good fit. So let's keep an eye on that. But Denver has named their head coach, and it's going to be Vance Joseph. The Los Angeles Rams, they made news yesterday by announcing their head coach as they nabbed the offensive coordinator from the Washington Redskins. And the thing about this guy, Sean McVay, he becomes the youngest head coach in NFL history. On January 24th, he'll be turning 31 years old. Wow. So, but he's got a young team over there with a hungry defense over there. This could be a good hire for them. As an offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins, they did have some big games over there. So this could be a good hire. And when I like what they did, they may have went with the youngest for the head coaching position, but they might have grabbed one of the oldest for the defensive coordinator as they also bring over Wade Phillips. And, Wade Phillips has been in this game a long time. He knows defense. He's a great mind. And, he could be a good offset to someone like a Sean McVay. Brings over a little bit of veteran leadership. So it could be a good blend. I think that's a good move for Los Angeles. And like I said, they do have a formidable defense. So bringing away Phillips over there for that defense could be just what they need. So that's a good hire in my estimation. Buffalo, they go ahead and they sign Sean McDermott to a head coaching position. And Jacksonville, they give the head coaching position to Doug Marrone. So there's another coaching position that's still left, and that's San Diego. But San Diego made different kind of news as they announced that they'll be going to Los Angeles after playing 55 of their 56 years in San Diego. They're returning back home to Los Angeles. Little did we all know, their first year in pro football, they played in Los Angeles. So I guess this is a homecoming of some sort. So they'll be sharing a stadium with the Los Angeles Rams, pretty similar to what Jets and Giants do up in New York. So keep an eye on that. And they're supposed to be revealing a new logo and so forth. I wonder if they're going to be changing the name of the Charger. Just something to think about. So we'll see as the upcoming weeks come on. All right, but still, there's football to be played. There's football still to be played as this is the divisional rounds of the NFL playoff, and it can't get any better than this. You have people talking all over the place, whether it's on TV, whether it's in the locker rooms, whether it's at work, around the water coolers, conversations in the barbershop. Everywhere you go, people are talking. Will the hot Aaron Rodgers derail the rookies over there in Dallas? I say no. I think Dallas gets that win. Can Seattle, their veteran presence, that defense that they usually bring, can they come and upset the Falcons in the Georgia Dome? I say yes. I say yes. I wasn't originally going with Seattle, but after talking to some Atlanta fans, I had to change my mind. I'm waiting for a Monday morning conversation where Seattle has won. I just want to see the faces and the looks on these Atlanta Falcon fans as I rest in their backyard. I just want to see their faces and what happens if Seattle do pull off the upset. And then there's Pittsburgh. I'm pulling for Mike Tomlin. After those comments by Terry Bradshaw, of all people, calling this guy like a cheerleader of some sort and asking, what does he do? What does he do? What does he do? He's probably one of the best head coaches in the game right now. One of the best head coaches in the game right now. What does he do? That baffles me. Terry Bradshaw, you thinking that being that he is one of the all-time Pittsburgh greats. Don't get me wrong. One of the all-time Pittsburgh greats, that he would show support for the head coach of his team. And no, he does the complete opposite. So I'm not sure what that is. But I'm pulling for Mike Tomlin and Pittsburgh Steelers. If you've been following this show, I said a couple of weeks ago or a week ago that I think Mike Tomlin should be considered for Coach of the Year in the AFC. Because what he's doing with this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, which might be the weakest in their team history, it's just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And then maybe the weakest game of the weekend, and that's Houston going up to Foxborough to play New England. This one will probably be over by the time the national anthem is finished. I just don't see this being a competitive game. Don't get me wrong, though. Houston's defense is a lot better than what many of us realize or maybe even give credit to, but I just don't see this being that competitive. I think New England wins easily. I think maybe the first quarter, first half, it might seem a little bit close, but once they come out in the second half, I think New England runs away with this pretty easily. I think Brady sits back there and just picks them apart after a while. So, but those are your 4 games. They start on Saturday. You got 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Should be an exciting weekend of pro football. If you're a football fan, you can't ask for anything more. This is what it's about. The divisional round, playing for the Final Four, the conference championship. That's what's up next. It starts this weekend. Yes, it does. It starts this weekend. So, anyway, moving along to the NBA, and what a night in the NBA it was, or what a day it was in the NBA. I get a text from my daughter this morning, and the text read, "Dad, you should talk about Denver and Indiana game. Denver scores 140 points. It's amazing, right?" And I'm like, wow, she's helping Dad out. I appreciate that. And, you know, anytime you do get a chance to score 140 points. So then I text back to her, and this was the cool thing about it. I said, yeah, and what's so amazing about it is that the game was played in London. She said, yeah, I know. I know. I didn't know they did things like that. I said, yeah, they do. And she said, that's what made it more amazing. And she said, you need to talk about it. So in light of my daughter, I will talk about that game as Denver knocks off Indiana 140, I think it was 140 to 112, 115. I mean, Denver had a balanced attack, but what I find astonishing about it is that as I was looking at the box scores of the game, I was looking at it, and I saw that they were like shot 33% from 3-point range. No, I'm sorry. They shot 15. They shot over 50, just under 50% from 3-point range. There was 15 for 32. It was Golden State that was 15 for 31. But they was 15 from 32 from 3-point range. So they was slightly under 500, 50%. But more importantly, a third of their shots were 3-pointers. And, you know, here's the thing. Either it was friendly rims or they just had it going. Because think about this. How often, you know, they don't play on this court. And to just go there and score 140 points with a balanced attack. It wasn't like it was just a one-man show. They had a balanced attack. It was very impressive. Very impressive. And that was a day game for us, but it was obviously night over there. But that was a very impressive game. So Denver does come away with 140 points, and they do get the win against Indiana over in London. But that wasn't the only game yesterday that wasn't played on U.S. soil. As Dallas beats Phoenix. Yes, it was Phoenix. Beat Phoenix in Mexico City yesterday. And Darren Williams turned back the clock, looking like the Darren Williams of Utah. You don't see that too often. But he was looking really strong. As he put up I think he put up like 25 points, maybe 23 points. But he had 12 assists to lead Dallas over Phoenix. But Phoenix had a star of their own yesterday. Devin Booker. Guys, get used to that name. He may become one of those Klay Thompson, Steph Curry like type shooters in this league. This is a young kid. He's about 19, 20 years old. Second year in the league out of Kentucky. This guy can shoot. He finished the game with 39 points. He had a third quarter to remember. This is a young kid that's only going to get better. If he can find a sidekick to work along with him in Phoenix, or someone that can give him a reason to be open, or maybe somebody down in the box that can set a hard screen, yeah, this guy here can shoot it with the best of them. I tell you what, Phoenix need to hold on to this guy and find a way to build around them. Eric Bledsoe is a good point guard, but I don't know if that's the point guard he needs. But this guy, Devin Booker, it's not going to be the last that we hear from him. I believe he's going to have a stellar career. But continuing on in the NBA, it was blowout night last night. San Antonio used the balance attack to blow out the Lakers by 40 at home. Golden State, their big three, they all scored over 20 points apiece again as they beat up on Detroit by 20. It was kind of blowout night last night. The Knicks pulled off a win against Chicago by 15, and I need to talk about that. To me, I thought this was a must-win game. Chicago came in there. Jimmy Butler wasn't playing. Mirotic wasn't playing. In fact, they didn't even make the road trip. That's how sick they were. They didn't play. You still got the issues with Rondo. And I know the Knicks didn't have Porzingis, but it was a game that they needed to win. And in the worst way. After the debacle that took place 24 hours earlier in Philadelphia, they needed to come home to the Garden and get this win. Carmelo had a pretty good game. He was 10 for 19 from the field. He had 23 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. There was some cheers and some boos for DRose, but he had 17. Kyle O'Quinn, he continues to impress. He had a double-double coming off the bench. But this was a much-needed win. The Knicks' next 4 games, Sunday they go to Toronto. Monday they're home for Atlanta. Wednesday they go to Boston. Thursday they're home for Washington. They're going to have 4 games in 5 nights, starting on Sunday. Listen, I don't make excuses for no one. They're 4 games under 500. They need that win in the worst way. They need it in the worst way. They can easily go 0-4 these next 4 games. They can go 1-3. They can go 2-2. They can go 3-1. I seriously doubt they go 4-0. But they need to figure out a way to go 3-1 and avoid going 0-4. If they go 0-4, I'm claiming it right now. If the New York Knicks go 0-4 in their next 4 games, they're officially eliminated from the playoffs. That will put them 8 games under 500, and I don't see them recovering from that. I will not see them recovering from that. And what's worse, all those games are conference games. 2 of them are division games. So if there's tiebreaker scenarios at the end of the season that might make a difference whether you go to the playoffs or not, these 4 games could make that difference. So I say to you guys and to the Knicks fans and to those who just watched the show, if the Knicks lose their next 4 games, they are officially eliminated from the playoffs. There's no recovering from that. Like I said, they're 4 games under 500 now. That will put them 8 games under 500. With about 36 games to go. I don't see it happening. So this is a big stretch for New York. If last night's win means something, and here's the thing. Sometimes you can turn it around from a big win. Sometimes you can turn it around from a tough loss. It's just all about the chemistry of the team. Do they pull together? Here's the thing. From the Rose AWOL situation, I learned something. Either the Knicks players don't care or they're a tight-knit group and they have love for one another. Because no one has really come out and said anything that was negative about the situation. And I just look around the league. I can't imagine Durant or Klay Thompson or Steph Curry pulling a no-show and Draymond Green not voicing his opinion out loud. I can't see that. I just can't see it. I can't see a DeAndre Jordan or a Blake Griffin pull a no-show and Chris Paul not saying something out loud. I can't see a Kevin Love or even J.R. Smith for that matter pull a no-show and LeBron not saying anything. I just don't see it. So when this happens with the Knicks, and Knicks are clearly not on the level of those players or those teams, but you don't need to be. Because someone has got to be the leader there. You know, the only thing you heard was Joakim Noah say, he's okay. What do you mean he's okay? What do you mean he's okay? You guys are no call, no show, and that's all you got to say? And you guys is in the midst of trying to hang on to your season? And you need this guy? And to this moment, we don't know factually what was the case? Listen, I've worked on jobs for the majority of my life, been in managerial positions. It's not one time that I ever denied somebody to go be with their family, whether it was an emergency situation or not. If you have an issue with your family, your bosses, especially in today's society, you think anyone's going to be insensitive to that? Do you really think someone's going to be insensitive to that? Imagine going to your bosses and say, listen, I have to leave. I got a family emergency. No, you can't go. You need to finish your tour. You need to finish. You got to wait till your shift is over. You got to play this game. It's unheard of today. Possibly 30, 40 years ago, maybe. Today? No. Who's going to be insensitive to that? If you really... DRose, no disrespect to you. But if you really had an issue with the family and you needed to go, I truly do not believe that the Knicks organization would have told you, you can't go. I believe they would have helped charter the flight, take you there, and maybe offered to go with you or bring somebody along for some kind of support. Again, I'll be the first to apologize if it was something that was serious with the family. Me personally, I just think this is a spoiled brat that was being affected and was upset by not playing in some fourth quarter games. Listen, we've all had family emergencies that we have to step away from our job, whether it is coming to work or having to leave work. And we've all gone to our boss and said, listen, I can't get it done today. I can't make it in today. Something came up. My family needs me for da-da-da-da-da. It's up to us to share exactly what it is. But the fact that we do share that if something is up, the bosses is not going to say no. They're not going to say no. No. If you went to your boss and said your dog needs to go to the vet, they're not going to tell you no. And then he makes a comment yesterday saying that this one incident should not affect me from getting a max contract. Listen, if anything comes out of this that's going to be good, it's that he's going to play extra well. Because this is a stain him going forward. And clearly, he deserves and wants a max contract. That's in his mind. I don't think he's a max contract player. And that crippled his chances. But he thinks he's a max contract player. So he's going to play like one. So we might get a better DRose the rest of the way. And to the Knicks brass that allowed him to play in that Philadelphia game, poor judgment on your behalf. Poor judgment on your behalf. Poor judgment. Because anytime someone feels that they don't want to play, they're not going to play. They're not going to play. And the fact that Phil Jackson did not issue a suspension, what are you saying that Jeff Horner said? And think about this, guys. They don't show respect for him now. Big game against Golden State. Carmelo sits out over my shoulder. 7 minutes in the Houston game, he checks out. 2 games that it looked like the Knicks couldn't win. He doesn't show up. 3 games, we needed him. 3 games. In a Boston game early in the season, he gets ejected for no reason. We're on a little bit of a tailspin. Well, the beginning of the tailspin that we're in right now, goes to Atlanta, gets ejected. We go on the road to New Orleans. New Orleans beat us good. We get a chance to avenge the loss back at the Garden just Monday night, or whenever it was. He gets ejected again. Listen, I've been following Melo. Prior to this year, I don't think he's got ejected more than 3 times since he's been a Knick. In the first 40 games of the season, he gets ejected 3 times. I question, do you want to play? But is that respect for your coach? Is that respect for your team? Yeah, I remember Iverson, and they showed a clip, and I read a clip actually. Derrick Rose met Iverson for the first time. They hugged. He called it hood love. I understand that. I get that. We're talking about all the antics that we've heard about Iverson with practice and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Iverson probably played on the court hungover. Probably didn't get a wink of sleep. You would never hear this guy being AWOL from a game, let alone resting. Come on. Come on. Come on. Where's the love? Where's the respect? Where's the respect? Yeah, you guys are living a dream. Your place of employment is a childhood dream that you're being paid handsomely. Whether or not you receive a max contract or not, you're being paid handsomely. There are guys that don't have to take a shower after games because they didn't play and making 7 figures for something that they do 6 to 7 months out the year. Making 7 figures. You guys are paid handsomely to perform a childhood dream. And all we ask you to do is have respect and integrity, not only for yourself, for the game, for your teammates, for your fans. That's all we ask. A no-show, no-call. 3 ejections. Where's the league gone to? Where's it gone to? Well, that'll do it for today's show. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As I said, happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back at it in 24. Peace and blessings. I see you then.